readers, I'm excited to share a sweet story with you today. I have this book called My Friend Maggie, and it's written by Hannah E. Harrison, and she also created the illustrations or the pictures to this book. So she did two things. She wrote the words and created the pictures. And I love this story because it talks about friendship and what it means to be a good friend. And friends are people that like to spend time together, that enjoy each other's company. They want to be together and they get along when they're together. They do things like help one another out. So if someone falls down, they might help them. They share. They play together. They listen to one another. They encourage each other, sort of celebrate what one does well. And if someone gets hurt, they help them out and they use kind words. So friends are really important people in our lives. And we know that friendships kind of have their ups and downs. But in the end, a friend is always a friend, right? So we're going to read this story and learn about friendships. And while we're learning about friendships, we're also going to be on the lookout for characters. And characters are people, animals, or things that talk and act like people in the story. So a character can be a person, it could be like a thing, like a pencil or paper or a book or a robot, or it could be an animal in the story. And they have to talk and act like people to be the character in the story. And characters are so important because it's the whole reason the story is written. It revolves around the characters. So knowing who they are and who the important ones are in the story is really important. So we're going to practice looking for the characters in the story. And there'll be lots of characters in this story, but there are only a few that are the characters that we should be watching in the story that the story is all about. So we're going to be on lookout for who those characters are. And we're going to think about what they are doing that would show that they're a character, how they're acting like people. That'll be the clue. And as we're reading, I have two really juicy words I want us to be on the lookout for. The first one is clumsy. And clumsy means you kind of break things and fall a lot by accident. It's not something you mean to do. You fall a lot or you like bump into things, you're clumsy. And I'm often clumsy, especially in my house with all my kids. I can tend to get a little clumsy. The next word is pretend. Pretend is when you make believe or act like something that you're really not, or you act like something that's not true. So this little guy here, this monkey, is pretending not to hear his other friends. He's singing and pretending not to hear them. Sometimes we pretend like we're superheroes or maybe another animal in the world. We pretend all the time. So be on the lookout for those words too. So let's get started and read our story and be on the lookout for the characters in the story, the people, animals, or things that act like people in the story. So let's get started. My friend Maggie. This is my friend Maggie. So here's Maggie. And then there's another label here that says me, Paula. Paula is telling the story. My friend Maggie. This is my friend Maggie. We've been friends forever. She's great at splashing in mud puddles. So I see two animals in the book already that are acting like people. We've got an elephant, Maggie, and this looks like a little beaver named Paula, and they're doing things people would do. They're playing and they're wearing clothes, and Paula's kind of talking to us about Maggie. So I know they're characters. She helps me reach the reddest apples. She lifts me up when I can't see. What a nice friend. She's helping her with apples and helping her see it. It looks like a parade. Maggie's the best. Ooh, Maggie is going to jump into that water and probably make a big splash at the party, the pool party. Oh, look, there's some other characters, it looks like, but they're not talked about much yet. So I wouldn't say they're a main character, but they might be. But let's keep reading and find out. Only Veronica doesn't think so. Veronica thinks Maggie's too big, and now that she mentions it, there's another, looks like a little dog named Veronica mentioned in the book, another character. Maggie is kind of clumsy. Oh, there she is. She's bumping into a statue. She's clumsy. She stinks at hide and seek. Oh. And her clothes are a little snuggish. Oh, the character Paula is not talking about Maggie too nicely right now. I know I should stick up for Maggie. But I play with Veronica instead. So we have three characters, Maggie and Paula and Veronica. There's Veronica. She has some friends, but they're not really talked about in this story. And I pretend I don't see her. She's acting like she doesn't see her. That's not a good friend. Even though it's impossible to miss her. She's impossible to miss. But then Veronica decides that my teeth stick out too far and starts calling me Bucky. And do you know who comes charging in to stand up for me? Who do you think it's going to be? What character is going to come along and save the day? Maggie! Can you believe it? Oh, Maggie's a good friend. Yep, that is my friend Maggie. Did I mention she's the best? Oh, she really is the best. She stood up for her even though Paula wasn't very nice when she was not playing or paying attention to Maggie. She started playing with Veronica instead. I'll be her friend forever. Aww. It looks like she learned the true meaning of a friend who's there for you in the good parts and the bad parts of your life, right? She wasn't a great friend to her, but Maggie didn't forget, and she was a good friend, even when she wasn't nice to her. I think Paula will learn her lesson and stand by Maggie the next time she needs a good friend, right? I think so. So, who were the characters mentioned in the story? Do you remember? There were three main characters, right? There were three, and two of them were talked about the whole time. The two main characters were who? Maggie and Paula. And who was the other character in the story? Who was that other animal? That made fun of Paula and also made fun of Maggie a little bit by saying she's big. Do you remember who that was? Oh, it was that dog. And the dog's name was Veronica. So there were three characters in the book. Maggie, Paula, and Veronica. And Maggie and Paula were the main characters in the book. And remember, the story revolves around the main character. So whenever you're reading a book, look for the characters because that's where the story will follow. We'll find out what the problem was, how it was solved by thinking about the characters and what's happening to them. Thank you for reading with me. I hope you enjoyed My Friend